We want to get to the very most important thing we have to talk about, which is, of course, the debt ceiling and the debt limit. But I do need to talk about Kevin McCarthy. Because today he couldn't even answer a very straightforward question about probably the most embarrassing member of his caucus, George Santos. I just want to play that for you just for a moment.
I think I would like the House to take up this work and look at it, and if it rises to that occasion, then, because as we look to all these differences, I mean, we just had a report come out from Durham. What does that say about Adam Schiff? He lied to the American public. Should he be expelled from Congress as well?
Okay, first of all, that is insane. Adam Schiff is barely mentioned in the Durham report, 3 sort of passing mentions of him. He is not at issue here. And that is who you all are negotiating with about the debt limit. Is he taking the debt limit more seriously than he's taking the presence of a potential felon in his caucus?
Well, first of all, it's great to be with you,
Thank you.
Joy. You know, George Santos is a serial fraudster. He does not belong anywhere near the House of Representatives. He defrauded the people of the 3rd Congressional District in New York, lied about everything, lied about his life, lied about his jobs, lied about his finances, lied about his professional experiences, lied about being Jewish. He perpetrated a fraud on the people of New York. He was elected under false pretenses. And so I commend Congressman Garcia for bringing this privileged resolution forward. And the real question is, are House Republicans going to stand on the side of truth or stand on the side of George Santos? It's important to mention, Santos was referred to the Ethics Committee months ago.
Right.
So what are we doing? You're either going to hold him accountable under the Constitution or you're not. It's going to be interesting to see how the so-called moderates in terms of New York House Republicans vote.
Right.
They've all said that they want him out,
right,
that he doesn't belong in the House of Representatives. Tomorrow, they will have an opportunity to vote their word.
So that is